who's the maverick and who's the goose, since we're talking about the
he's
wing?
the maverick.
He's the maverick.
You're both pointing at each other.
I think we have more conversations with each other than our wives.
You've known each other longer than you've known your wives, so it makes
That is true.
kind of makes sense.
That is true.
People talk about the Flipkart mafia and all the startups that came about. I think
You're part of the
Yeah,
mafia.
I'm saying
I think it's the startup university.
Still are.
Equal number of good decisions and bad decisions.
Yeah.
But the fact is that looking back, vision is always 2020. And I think we have that advantage building PhonePe after having seen the Flipkart journey.
I want to have the ability to look somebody in the eye and say that I have a clear path to profitability before I can say that I will IPO.
I think the business is in a good place, the org is in a good place, the sector is in a good place. If you're a market leader in a growth sector, I think it's a good time.
What are the top 3 things that you would tell a young entrepreneur today, which you believe are the non-negotiables?
If you're a first-time entrepreneur or you're below 30, you gotta swing for the fences.
And so how soon can we expect PhonePe to build from India for the world?
Ask the CTO. It's India's time to build for the world.
How do you look at competition?
Shamelessly, I think in our sector over the last 10-15 years, the most innovative by far and away has been Paytm, and we talk about this.
Yeah.
Right to win comes in from how we execute, but the right to play comes in from whether we have the building blocks to be able to enter a new business, even if we are entering late.
The Tatas empire, I see the Birlas or the Ambanis or more recently the Adanis and the Mahindras. They have things that every new business can take for granted.
Hello and welcome to the Young Turks podcast. I'm Shereen Bhan. We're here in Bengaluru to talk to someone who bet on India's digital ecosystem well before India had its UPI moment. Digital payments was where it started, but the story of PhonePe is more diverse than that, and they're attempting to build it even bigger. Joining me now to talk about PhonePe and the road ahead and that much talked about IPO, Sameer Nigam and Rahul Chari. Gentlemen, thanks very, very much for joining us here on the Young Turks podcast. I'm going to start with exactly that. You on stage in August of 2024 said that I want to have the ability to look somebody in the eye and say that I have a clear path to profitability before I can say that I will IPO. Can you look me in the eye and tell me what's changed today? What gives you the confidence of wanting to go for an IPO today?
I'm not sure I said exactly that, but
Paraphrasing, but broadly that.
I think the profitability part of it, we shared our annual report for FY24 already, and we were adjusted PAT positive for the first time, so I'm very happy about that. I think directionally too, I think the company's at a stage where I feel like the core payments business, consumer and merchant combined, is at a stage of maturity and market leadership where we should, hopefully from here, remain sort of very, very stable and hopefully quite profitable in years to come. Conditioned well enough to say without setting any targets or goals. I think it's the right time. I think the business is in a good place, the org is in a good place, the sector is in a good place. Payments is still growing very rapidly. So if you're a market leader in a growth sector, I think it's a good time.
So Rahul, did the two of you sit and have a conversation about it makes sense to do it now? This is the right time, this is the moment, and we should go all in?
Oh yeah, we have a conversation about everything. I think we have more conversations with each other than our wives.
You've known each other longer than you've known your wives, so it makes
That is true.
kind of makes sense.
That is true. No, we did have a conversation. I think like Sameer mentioned, just given the current state of the org and the business, specifically on the core offering that is payments, given how exciting financial services and payments in India is, and the fact that we also have a few new businesses that we are diversifying into, we felt that this is the right time where the core business on the path to profitability, being able to actually nurture new businesses, is the right time to take PhonePe to the public markets. It is also a reflection of our maturity as a company from a compliance and governance perspective, that we are ready to actually take on this larger role. So yeah, we did have the discussion and felt that it's perfectly the right time to actually push forward.
I think we knew that we'd want to actually eventually list.
Because I
Few years back, because we moved to India with that whole view.
Exactly. I mean, to pay a hefty bill of 8,000 crore rupees to reverse flip and move back to India, I would imagine had its roots in this eventual decision, right?
Of course.
I think directionally, if the right answer for a business like ours is to list, then this is the right market. I mean, I think we're very proud of the fact that we are a household name or brand in the country today. It doesn't make sense to list anywhere else. So I think the reverse flipping was a precursor towards an eventual listing someday.
But, I want to understand for the two of you, what's the motivation to list? I mean, we've had this conversation with several founders. Some have decided to go the IPO route and some have decided not to go the IPO route.
Sure.
Another one of your peers next door, Zerodha, choosing not to go down the IPO route, even though that is a very real possibility for them. What is the motivation to IPO, besides, of course, providing exits to whoever would want an exit?
So I think that last part is a big motivation for companies like ours that actually have outside investors. So Zerodha is a good example where
They have
wildly
one.
profitable
Yeah.
and the family owns the entire company. So I think they can get the liquidity that they desire through dividends, but more importantly, they can keep investing in the future of that company also through their bottom line. We took a path which is, well, the sort of tried and tested path of getting outside in capital.
Yeah.
And it's also a very fiercely competitive market when you're actually trying to build on microtransactions at population scale. So we needed that capital. We didn't have it. So I think in this case, you have to have a steady liquidity environment, not just for us, employees, shareholders, current and future. I think that's one part of it. We're blessed. We don't have a rush on that front. We have the money to invest in all the businesses that we need to. We have really good investors, both. I think for us, it's more the nature of our business. We're just so heavily regulated across all the financial regulators now.
Yes.
Wanting to operate not just in payments but in other sectors also at population scale. I think the governance the stamp that comes with public governance standards is a higher order stamp than being privately governed. I think that's a big reason.
So, do you believe that because you're now regulated not just by the RBI but also by SEBI, and of course the insurance regulator as well, since you're now in the insurance business as well, that this need to IPO kind of gives you the added legitimacy as well?
I think that's the right word.
I think it's not just the legitimacy, just given the scale that we operate at on the payments business that is regulated by RBI for sure, but also on the other businesses, the scale that we expect to get to. It becomes more of a responsibility, like moving back to India, having a jurisdiction in India was one aspect of it. But going public, I think, becomes another responsible action by the company in terms of ensuring that being in the regulated space, we're taking all the right steps to give confidence to the regulators as well as the public who have placed the trust on us and our platform that we are the company that we stand for. Yeah.
But could you not have IPO'd even if you were still domiciled in Singapore? I mean, it doesn't stop you from listing in India. It does come with added constraints, but was that ever a consideration?
Not for the two of us.
No?
So when we started PhonePe 10 years ago, we actually had incorporated here. It's when we merged with
Flipkart, yeah.
Because they were domiciled in Singapore, we became a sub there. I think to Rahul's point, we want to play in financial services, not just in payments, but in lending and insurance and broking and whatnot. And I think these are all not just sensitive sectors. These are, I think, sectors where the regulatory norms and the laws in every major economy in the world require you to abide by them.
Yeah.
And I think there's an expectation that you will list in that like sort of home market. So I think from the governance standpoint, the argument for the IPO, it just makes so much more sense in India.
Yeah.
I think even in terms of creating shareholder value, the number of my extended family members and friends and others who come and ask, hey, can I ever buy PhonePe shares? That's what I want to solve for. If you're going to create shareholder value in the public market, I'd rather create it in home market, right? Why would I actually list and open up to HNIs and retail investors or DIs in some other market. I don't want to. I mean, there's no
I think
rush.
we are a company, we take a lot of pride in the fact that we are a company that has been built in India for every Indian.
Yeah.
And used by quite a few Indians, right? Our ambition actually takes us to say that we would like to be used by every Indian. We always talk about population level scale. With that, I think trying to take any other route, if we are going to be a listed company, I think falls short of the expectations we have set for ourselves and for the company, really. So we love the fact that we are a product that is recognized, used and trusted by so many Indians. And in that scenario, to actually list outside versus list in India, I think it wouldn't be as much fun at all.
So made in India by Indians for Indians, that of course is the ethos as far as PhonePe is concerned. But since we're talking about expectations, let's talk about the timeline. What is the likely timeline as far as the IPO is concerned? What's this process been like of putting everything together, preparing yourselves for an eventual listing?
I can't, unfortunately, speak to the timing just yet. I think we're working towards it, and I think we've said that formally now. Sometime in early Feb, we got the approvals that we needed from our board to start the process. It's been an interesting process, to say the least. I mean, just all the scatter-gather of all the paperwork and all the participants. It's been it's like launching another startup. So we're enjoying the process. I think like everything else we do, we go a little slower, but I'd like to believe a little more purposefully about the process. We're trying to make sure that we cross all our T's, dot all our I's, do it slowly enough. That's why I'm not putting a timeline to it.
Sure.
Hopefully not too far away, but I can't say yet. And before you ask me about valuation, that's a discussion that's not even started. That I'll answer after we're done with roadshow somewhere down the line.